People often advise not to trust blindly. Yet, despite past betrayals, many continue to support online businesses with questionable track records. If the following doesn't sharpen your skepticism, nothing will. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, which is exactly what sold this room. Who can resist staying in one that promises a near floor-to-ceiling view? A view of what, you asked? Why, of curtains, obviously, and one intelligently positioned air conditioning unit, which blocked the wall beneath the window. Dieters, rejoice. You can drink milkshakes to your heart's content, because they don't really contain as many calories as fitness buffs swear they do. In fact, as this picture shows, they don't really contain much of anything at all. Those glasses are the real trick here. Hear me out on this one because it's shocking and proves you can't trust car companies either. Also called Emissionsgate or Dieselgate, the Volkswagen emissions scandal broke out in 2008 because of VW's reputation, however, and because their association with the former Nazi regime as well in the past. They got away with it until 2015. VW had created a turbocharged direct injection, or TDI, diesel engine that they claimed was environmentally friendly because it produced far less noxious gases like nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide than their competitors. Turns out that the TDI was fitted with a defeat device which was programmed to detect when a car was being subjected to lab testing, so that it could reduce the amount the car would pollute for the test. This meant every vehicle in the test exceeded the legal limit of nitrogen oxide emissions. It was the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency who caught them, however, after a trail of lies, of course. Not only did VW have to fork over $18.31 billion in the lawsuit, but it also showed the world that all that hype about diesel being cleaner was a bunch of gas. Not only did they lie to customers, many of which bought the cars only because they were claimed to be more environmentally friendly, this has also led to 1 million tons of extra pollution, which, according to an MIT study, will shorten thousands of lives. Ricolino is a Mexican candy company that attempted to make emoji icon ice creams in 2016 and put their own spin on it. Apparently, that or they have a strange sense of humor, which includes disappointing children. And if you thought that was bad, then how about this? It looks more akin to a gherkin than a chocolate winter girl. Now for a toy that sucks. Marvel sells these SpiderMan figures which you're supposed to put in water to make them grow. Either something went wrong in production and quality control, or this one got bitten by a radioactive spider, or they could have soaked it in steroids. Here's a classic product scam. The radio in Doctrinet was first sold in 1924 and produced by the American Endocrine Laboratories because they knew next to nothing about radium and thorium back then. In case you don't either, they're radioactive. It was a small gold box that sold for $150 or $2,137.49. In today's values, gentlemen were supposed to put it on their balls to cure impotence. It even came with a strap to keep it in place, a very bad idea. The company finally stopped producing these in 1929, but not because they finally understood what it did. They stopped because they could no longer produce them in mass quantities. We have no testimonies of its effects, but its inventor, William J. A. Bailey, died in 1949 of bladder cancer. In 1969, they exhumed his body and did an autopsy. The official report? He was ravaged by radiation. So rather than curing impotence, the device actively killed off its customers. In case you can't read Russian, those letters in green mean with broccoli. To be fair, broccoli as a singular is the same as a plural in both English and Russian, so technically they weren't lying much. Fresh to go supplies 7-Eleven stores, but they must have been affected by the global economic crisis as well. So how do they cope? By cutting corners and putting the filling in only half the sandwich. Just enough to trick you into believing it's jam-packed, only to feel completely disappointed upon eating it. Vibram marketed their 5-finger shoes in 2005 as an alternative to being barefoot. The aim was to help people move around in nature better. They'd have been fine if they stopped there, but they didn't, because Vibram also claimed that their 5 fingers could decrease the risk of ankle sprain and plantar fasciitis, a disorder that causes pain in the heel and bottom of the feet. But they still didn't even stop there. They also insisted that it improves posture, stimulates neurofunction related to balance and agility, and more. They lied, of course. After several people bought into it all, but failed to see its healing effects, Vibram had to fork over $3.75 million in lawsuits. Just goes to show what happens when you give some people enough rope. In case you don't know what a box ball is, they're used in a game originally invented in Italy. It's like playing marbles, only with bigger balls called box. So, what are they made of? In this particular case, a bunch of billiard balls and concrete, apparently. At least they're recycled, I guess, but surely the different weights will make it roll abnormally. But that's not the main issue here. We need to send the monster who did this to a pregnant box to jail. Mermaid Blankets became a rage in 2016. How better to live out childhood fantasies of being a one-legged freak that lives in water while keeping your legs warm? When ordering them online, however, buyers should beware, unless you like being a one-legged freak with 2 toes. Balloons that conform to cute shapes like hearts or a mouse. Sounds amazing. Or so some unfortunate people thought on Valentine's Day. Turns out all they ended up buying were a few mutant balloons, which don't do a great job at expressing love. Vibrams aren't the only ones to have gone overboard with their marketing. Skechers claimed that their series of toning shoes could make you sexy just by wearing them. Their shape-up style showed women putting them on and turning into gorgeous supermodels. Just like Cinderella, but without the evil stepsisters, the time limit, and the fairy godmother. Taking it a step further, they even insisted it tones muscles, helps with weight loss, and improves cardiovascular health. With ads like "Shape Up While You Walk" and "Get in Shape Without Setting Foot in a Gym," who could possibly resist? The Federal Trade Commission did, apparently. In 2012, they accused Skechers of overhyped advertising claims and ordered the company to cough up a $40 million settlement. Unfortunately, it also means you really do need to go to the gym. Ever wondered what goes into mystery meat? Here's a hint. It has 4 legs, whinnies, and is a vital stage prop for any Western flick. If you still can't guess, prepare to be amazed. Findus, a frozen food brand owned by Nomad Foods, decided to test how far people would go, apparently because they began selling horse meat. Not that they admitted it, of course. They instead sold beef and chicken pies, or so they said. At least till February 2013, when it was discovered that they were selling horse meat instead. But it didn't stop there. For Muslims and Jews, they offered beef burgers, but DNA sampling found that 23 out of 27 samples in British supermarkets contained pork. That cost Findus over $100 million to settle, but they've never recovered. In 2016, they announced plans to rebrand their company name. If you can't trust Kellogg's, who can you trust? In 2009, the world went into swine flu panic. Fortunately, Kellogg's came to the rescue with its Rice Krispies and Cocoa Krispies cereal. The tagline on each box swore, "Now help support your child's immunity." Panic profiteering much. But wait, there's more. The Federal Trade Commission first filed a case against Kellogg's in 2008 for exaggerating the health benefits of their candy and milk products. Kellogg's apologized, paid $4 million, then made a new ad claiming their Frosted Mini Wheats improved children's attentiveness and memory by up to 20%. That annoyed the FTC so much that Kellogg's was forced to refund customers. Then came the swine flu epidemic the following year, and they came up with the immunity rubbish, costing Kellogg's another $5 million. Samuel Huntington first coined the phrase, "a clash of cultures." How's about a clash of expectations? Ordering online is always risky, but that risk goes up when ordering from China. Sure, it'll always be cheaper, but there's also a good reason for it. Buyer beware is one thing, but how about buyer also check specifications and read the listing more carefully? Adam Hess ordered a rug carpet embroidered for his room, but didn't bother to read that part on the Amazon listing that said Doll's House Miniature Rug Carpet. According to their website, these bracelets are a modern miracle. Using traditional Chinese medicine and modern technology, wearing one of these will improve your well-being, boost your strength, and improve your health, and they've been doing so since the 1970s. Just ask all the professional athletes and sporting clubs that swear by them. U.S. Circuit Judge Frank Easterbrook disagreed in January 2008, however, and slapped them with a $16 million lawsuit. That doesn't include the $87 million refund they have to pay to gullible customers, by the way. But the brave Schlitzer I&I has claimed QT Park, the company's owner. So CBC Marketplace took one to a lab for analysis, and surprisingly, they weren't. Despite filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after the ruling, their website's still up and running as of May 2018. Admittedly, they're now careful to add that this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Need to put even less, but can't afford to change your packaging? No problem. Use the donut maneuver. Simply pad the sides of your transparent packaging to make it look full. The empty area in the middle is a nice representation of the fat profit you'll get by giving your customer a little less product. Waitrose is a British company with an upmarket reputation. They're famous for their sandwiches, and given their reputation, they should be trustworthy, right? Suggestions: stay away from their halloumi and roasted pepper if you want enough nutrition to last you an hour. Which product upset you the most? Let me know in the comments section down below, and thanks for watching.